the EU top diplomat Borrell, in his speech at the UN today, the Security Council, basically accused Israel of using food as a weapon of war, saying that that's what Russia was accused of in Ukraine, weaponizing food, and Israel basically by blocking aid and forcing everyone to find alternate routes, like you are with the airdrops, the maritime, and all that, by blocking the entrance of enough aid, is basically using food as a weapon of war. Would you agree with that statement?
I would say we want them to allow more food in. We want them to allow more water in. We want them to allow more humanitarian assistance in. Look, they have allowed humanitarian assistance in. They have allowed food in. But in our judgment, it hasn't been enough. And we saw that, the whole world saw that incredibly starkly almost 2 weeks ago when we saw that horrible scene in northern Gaza, which is why you've seen us not just weigh in with the government of Israel as we have been doing, but to begin delivering humanitarian assistance ourselves through airdrops and begin work on a maritime option to deliver a large amount of humanitarian assistance in over the sea. But none of that changes our fundamental baseline position, which is that the majority of aid needs to go in through the land crossings into Gaza, and there needs to be much more of it than has been going in now. Now, that said, over the past week, 10 days, we have seen a fairly significant increase in the amount of aid that is going in. Now, that's partly because aid was at such low levels in February. It had gotten to the point where an incredibly low amount, not nearly enough, was getting in for a variety of reasons. And now we've seen an increase that is substantial, but it's still not enough, and we want to see much more.
So precisely, you said there's this increase. So basically, fortunately, it's not a game, so it's not the right word, but they're playing around with aid, opening, closing. So again, to my question, would you agree with the comment that Israel is using food as a weapon of war?
So we have seen a number of barriers erected, and sometimes those are logistical barriers. Sometimes they're hurdles that are imposed not by the government of Israel, but for example, you've seen protesters that have showed up, and the government of Israel has intervened to prevent protesters from blocking the delivery of aid, but then those protesters have moved to other locations. Instead of blocking the gate, they move it to a screening location, or they move to a road that trucks are delivering in. So there are a number of hurdles that have popped up, slowed down the delivery of assistance of aid, including especially in February, that we have had to work through and that we have been urging the government of Israel to work through. But ultimately, it doesn't change the bottom line conclusion, which is not enough aid has gone in, and the government of Israel needs to do more.